Hi, thanks very much for downloading the PDF that you've just downloaded on learning 5 classic songs in 30 days or less. You may be thinking that sounds a bit of a difficult task, but it actually is really possible. So what I'm going to do is break the songs down for you into easy to play chunks. So let me just introduce myself first. My name is James Ledley. I am a full-time guitar tutor from Northern Ireland. I've been teaching now from 2006 full-time. And it's kind of my mission to expand. Instead of just teaching locally, I want to teach as many people as I can around the world. Already I'm teaching people from America and Europe and all over the place at the minute, and it's really great to just be able to help more and more people out. So that's why I thought, rather than you just have a PDF that you're looking through and maybe getting stuck, I thought it's better to have a video lesson here. You can actually see how the song should be sounding. I'm going to break the chords up in different, just make it a lot easier for you to play these songs. So we've got 5 songs. We've got Ed Sheeran, Perfect. We've got Benny King, Stand By Me. We've also got the Beatles, Hey Jude. We've got U2, With or Without You. And we've also got at the very start the White Stripes, 7 Year Stormy. This is a really easy way to play the song. So a couple of things. I also run a Facebook group, Get Playing Guitar. You'll notice that in the document. I really would love to help you bring your playing on further. If you're on Facebook and you've maybe been looking for guitar lessons, this would be a great site to join, because I do free trainings all the time, just like this free resource, and help everybody with the playing. It's a great community. Everybody loves it and they're doing really well there. So feel free to check out all the links in the document. And without further ado, we'll get straight into the first song. So we're going to start right away. Now, just before we start the 7 Year Stormy, there's a couple of things in the document at the start I'm going to run through, just the basics, in case you're starting guitar from absolute scratch and you haven't really covered a lot of stuff so far. So bear with me on that. We're going to run through that first. I'm going to share the document, and then we'll get straight into the songs as quickly as possible. Okay, see you soon. Hi everyone, so welcome back. So here we are. This is the document. Now I'm going to run you through the document quite quickly, because, as I say, I didn't want to just have something that you download and then you're sitting with it and you maybe get stuck. The whole point of learning guitar and making guitar easier to learn is that you get help along the way, and that's my mission, kind of to help everybody as much as possible. So we're just going to flick through it. There's obviously the introductions and stuff. And as I say, my name's James Ledley. I'm a professional tutor. I've been teaching now since 2006 full time. I started learning when I was 15, so I'm playing 37 years as the date of this recording. That's quite a long time. So you can read through that and that'll explain. Now, before we get into the songs, I want to just run through the table of contents. So I'm going to give you a brief outline of some of the things that you need to watch out for when you're learning guitar. Even if you've been playing guitar a while, it's important to have just a quick listen to what I'm saying here, because you might pick up some really good tips along the way. As I said, thank you very much for downloading the resource. The idea of the lessons in this guide are to show you how you can get rid of the fluff out there and follow a simple process that makes learning guitar so much easier. No more hunting on YouTube and hoping to find an easier way to change chords and strum better and coordinate your left and right hand. So as a student of guitar, as I say, for 35 years, which is actually longer now from this document was put together, I've developed some unique ways to advance your playing or just get you started from scratch that will get you on the move very quickly. So I teach full time, Monday right through the week, and I spend a lot of my time just dealing with students' problems on guitar and fixing them and getting them moving on really quickly. So over the years, what I've found is, even with my own learning, is the best way to learn is to stick to one proven method and trust that it will take you there where you want to go, and not go off on tangents and kind of get distracted along the way. If there's a process in front of you that works, it's a case of putting your trust in that, and then we just move forward. And the same thing will be with this guide. You'll see that as we get further into this. As I say, I want to have students playing music from the outset, so we don't waste any more time. There are things we need to make sure you have covered before we start. So where do you start? I've carefully put this guide together to make sure you cover the essential chords that lead literally to thousands of songs. So these 5 songs are just the start. Now, we're using a capo with these songs, so the whole thing is that you're avoiding the harder chords at the start. I am breaking some of the chords down into easier to play chunks, which means my ethos is to get everybody playing music, which is why my Facebook group was called Get Playing Guitar, because I don't want people to be sitting learning a load of theory where they're not actually learning to play songs right away, and I'll show you how easy that can be. It's crucial that you learn guitar or improve your playing in a step-by-step manageable way where you're seeing results. This will motivate you to move forward, i.e. playing songs and playing your favourite music will keep you at it, and you're less likely to give up in the long run. Using this 5-song guide will arm you with the tools to be able to advance further and feel confident you can tackle more difficult songs down the line. Yes, exactly. So focus and patience are key to playing guitar. I know it's not easy these days with the amount of distractions, and that's a good point there. There are an awful lot of distractions these days. So the most important thing I can say is never lose sight of the goal. If you have your favorite music in mind you want to play, just think, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. Tunnel vision is what you need. Block out everything else. If you've got somebody helping you along the way, stick with it and trust that it'll work. There's a way of practicing. I'll explain a bit about that later on. And also, you have to have patience. It takes time. It's a skill like anything in life. You have to learn it. It just takes time. So the last one's probably the most important. If you want it enough, it will happen. And that is so true. And I didn't think it would happen when I was learning. I had problems with chords like D minor and certain bar chords and stuff like everybody does. And I thought, I'm never going to get this. But you do get it. You just got to keep at it. Okay, so we're going to just, if you've already covered some of this, possibly you could skip ahead, but I would advise you just to stick with me because there's some important things I'm going to bring up. So we're going to cover some basics on guitar first. Learning the string names. A lot of people overlook this. So this is important when we come to doing the White Stripes song because you need to know how to read the guitar tab. So basically the guitar tab, right, first of all, we'll start with the strings. We've got the E string, the A, the D, the G, the B, and the E. Very often this is a small E to represent the first string because it's thinner. Strings are going 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now there's a rhyme that I would use with the younger kids when I'm teaching: elephants and donkeys grow big ears. Elephants and donkeys grow big ears. There's also Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Excuse me, which is another one. Now, holding the guitar. This is something that people overlook. Very, very important. You can see this picture of the guy holding the guitar. He's sitting comfortably, his arms relaxed. He's even got a foot up on the chair that he has. If you're not sitting on a chair like that, then we could try and get one where you can rest your foot. It's not essential. The important thing is that you're sitting comfortably, you're relaxed. That's the important thing. Hand position, very, very important. You want your hand to fit snugly around the back of the neck, and then you curl your hands around so you can get the grip. For what the songs we are working on, these 5 songs, there are no really, really difficult chords, but there are some chords that will give you trouble along the way. You can have a read through that. Where basically the things we want to watch out for are the buzzing on the strings. This kind of thing. We don't want any buzzing. Reaching across for a C and a G. If you've been trying to get those chords, I'm going to show you how you can break those up and still be able to play these songs. We're going to get straight in. Just to show you as an example of reading guitar tab, if you've never read guitar tab before, this is how you read it. So it's basically upside down. Imagine your guitar like that. This string here is that red line there along the bottom. So for this Simpsons theme, I'll just play it for a minute. Right, really fun one to play, really easy one. Loads of things going on in that. You notice I was using my 3rd finger for fret 5. So we're playing the melody up here. A 1 on string 2, an open string 1, a 2 here, a 5, a 3, an open, and a 1. And then we've got 4, 4, 4, 5. String 4, fret 4, first finger, 2nd finger for the 5. And for the ending, now even if you've been playing a while, that's a fun tune to learn and everybody knows it. So at a party or something, you could pull that one out and say, here, see if you recognize this. You know, it's a great tune to learn. So I explain how to read that there underneath. First couple of notes, as I say, are string 2, fret 1, and then string 1 on those notes. So I'll leave you to work through that. If you do get stuck, feel free to pop me a message. I'll put a link at the end of the document and under the video as well. Hopefully you've seen the link on the page where you downloaded it, all this info. You can contact me there directly on Messenger, and I'll give you some tips on this, on how to play this. Also, yes, if you need a hand to check this out, my video here on the Get Playing Guitar, this should help you along. So you can check that video there. That's actually inside my Facebook group where I'm going to show you how to play this in a bit more detail. So I don't want to keep you too long. So I want to get into these songs soon, but these things are really important. I really want you to sort of pay attention to this because this is going to make a big, big difference to your playing in the long run. Right, so the 5 biggest mistakes to avoid when learning guitar. Rather than jump into these songs straight away, I feel it's my duty as a teacher to show you these and just make you aware of them, just so you can just speed up the whole process. So if you can avoid the mistakes below, you'll be well on your way to playing your favorite music. So my advice: avoid these mistakes below. Don't rush into things at the very start. Very, very important. A lot of people do that. Don't jump ahead into full chords, rhythms, etc. that you're not ready for. So don't be going in trying to play Hotel California solo if you just know D, A, and E, for example. Might seem pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people actually just jump far too far ahead and then get frustrated and then give up because they haven't got the process organized and haven't got a structure and a practice plan. Don't just make your chord changes randomly with different fingers. There's a process to playing guitar, just like there is with piano or any instrument. Your fingers need to be on the right strings and the right frets for the right chords and stuff. Same with soloing. Don't play with bad posture and never keep your arm in only one position. Really important. Do move your arm around when we're playing the chords. I'll be teaching you that as we go through the songs. Don't practice differently each time you pick the guitar up to play. Very important. Stick to the proper way to play, the proper good habits. Don't be developing bad habits. This is really, really important. If you develop bad habits, they're going to stick with you, and then you're going to end up probably needing somebody like myself to come along, fix those bad habits. So, as I say, don't panic. We're getting into the songs. I want to just blow that up a minute so you can see it. We are getting into the songs, but these fundamentals are really important. Okay, so the 5 solutions that will get you fast results. So what's going to happen is take things easy at the start. Too often beginners will start to learn chords that are just too difficult, full C and even full F chord. That's crazy. If you're working from a book that has a C chord 2 or 3 pages in, put it down, forget that. That's going to make life really difficult. No matter what anybody says, the way I teach, I do it in step-by-step ways, and it makes things so much easier, and people are playing music practically instantly, even in the first lesson. At the start, you need to work on the easy chords first and build from there. We are going to talk about probably the 4 most used chords, which are G, E minor, C, and D, which is why I chose Perfect and Stand By Me in this presentation, so you can see how they are really, really common for loads of songs. So there are thousands of songs with these 4 chords, and once you get even a fraction of them down, you can start to play music. So let's see how this works. Make sure you work from the ground up with the easier chords in the right order. Very, very important. Again, that's why I've chose these songs, and I would advise you to work through these songs in the order that I have put them in this book to make things easier. If you jump too quickly in the wrong chords at the start, the ones that are not really needed right away, you get frustrated. I always teach my students these 4 chords. Now, you may have came across these chords: G, E minor, C, D. Very, very common. The stretch on G across the fretboard can cause problems. E minor generally is fairly easy. C, you can get problems with string 1 and string 3 here. Not easy stretch across 3 frets. We're going to break that up and use a mini C for some of these songs. D can cause problems as well. You can even play a D sus2, which is basically the D without that note, and still use 4 strings. I'm going to walk you through all that as we go through it. So right away, we're going to break these down into smaller chunks where it's relevant. So that's what I'm explaining here. This is an example. G can be broke down to easy G and strum 4 and use that in a song. Or you can play G6 and play these 4, or actually the whole 6 if you want. Instead of trying to reach across, if you're not at the stages, you can do these yet. So sometimes for most beginners, starting with a full G chord, it's too difficult to stretch, so we can use either G6 or easy G. Usually E minor does not cause too much trouble, so we keep it as it is. Next time, so just to go back there, next time we will take that difficult C. Next week we'll take the difficult C chord, break it up into smaller chunks, as we mentioned earlier. This causes problems at the start. And why? Because when you're stretching across 3 frets, it's very difficult to get a C chord to sound clean. So we can break it up into a mini chord. We can break it up into a mini, sort of a 1-finger chord, a mini C. It's only A minor 7 if you hit 5. We're going to use it as 4. Or C major 7, you could go 5, 4, 3. But I would recommend you, for a better sound, if you can't do the full C, try the mini C. Watch out for string 3 open and watch out for string 1 open. Okay, so bear with me, we're nearly there, we're getting on to the songs. So you can see above how it can be broken up easily, right? So pivot fingers are really important, and links between chords. We're not going to get into that yet. That'll all come together later on. The D chord causes problems. Down here, this finger here can cause problems. We can use a D sus2 for that. And then what we're going to do, you can have a read there. I'm going to explain all this anyway as we go through the songs. The biggest mistake, one of the things, this is really important, don't stop strumming. When you're learning guitar, you've got to train your strumming hand, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. Keep moving. If this doesn't keep moving, no matter what's going on the left, or if that's your chord hand on the right, you're out of time. Right? You need to be in time. I'll go through this. I'll demonstrate this as we're going through the songs. And again, here I'm talking about breaking the chords up and using a pivot finger. Again, I'll explain that when we're going through the songs. I will fix this up. They are just single downs. They're 4 beats. So don't worry about that. I'll explain that anyway as the songs go in. So that was just whatever happened in the PDF there. Don't worry, I'll fix that up on your copy. So, and I'm talking here about how to change chords smoothly. Now, quite a lot of detail here in this before we get into the songs, but I felt it was my duty to make sure that you had this information. So the above are 4 beats in the bar. So strum 4 downs, 1 for each beat. So what we're doing is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the thing is not to stop when you're changing. What we want to do is keep that pivot finger sliding over to keep the momentum. I'll talk about pivot fingers as we go through the songs. We're going to break things down, make it a bit easier. So don't worry about that. You can have a read there. I'm going to go through all this about muscle memory and everything as time comes up. I just want to get on to these songs now. This just goes through about the E minor and A7 and the importance of using the upstrums and links between the chords. Now that's a wee bit more deeper than what the songs are going to cover, but you can always read back on this, and if it's relevant in the song that comes up next, I'm going to walk you through all that. Just before we go down into the tunes, moving your elbow in and out, very, very important. The G chord, your arm would be out. E minor chord would be out. C, extremely important to keep your elbow in here. Too many people do this. You get a strain on your neck, strain under here, you've got a gap here. It's all wrong. Bring your fingers in, elbow in tight to your body and strum. And the D chord, keep the arm in. And drop the chord hand slightly to help with that E string note, which can cause a lot of issues. We're going to go through this because all these chords are in these songs. Very important. Before we start, you can see the white stripes here at the bottom. Have a practice plan. This is a big issue that a lot of people don't even think about. If you don't have a structured practice plan, then to follow, your chords and everything else will be erratic, and you will jump from one thing to the other, being unsure every day what you'll be covering and how to practice. Structured focused practice is vital to make steady and recognizable progress with your playing. In other words, make sure you've got a practice plan and follow it. If you're unsure what to practice, send me a message on Messenger. I'll give you some tips and idea. If you really want to bring your playing forward, we can also have a free, no obligation chat. Well, we can have a chat. I can find out what is going wrong in your playing and give you some free suggestions and some help on how to fix it. So we're going to start with the white stripes, right? Now, this is a riff. So we're not playing any chords yet. We're just doing a simple riff and an easy version of this. So instead of the right that he plays and whatever else is going on, we are doing an easy version of this. Let me just blow this up so you can really see this clearly. Okay, so you can see there that we're playing notes basically. So again, quick review of the guitar tab. String 6 here, string 1 here. So remember, it's upside down. The head of the guitar is up here. These twos are on string 4, fret 2. Now, what I would recommend is anything that lands on fret 2, first finger, fret 3, second finger. So we've got 2, 2, 0, 2, open, 3, 2. First 5 notes are all on string 4. No, sorry, string 4 and 3. 4, so fret, string 4, 2, 2, 0, string 3, 2, string 4, open string 4, second finger plays the 3 on string 5, first finger plays the 2 on string 5, and then we repeat that. Now, what happens later on? For an easier structured version of it, I also teach the Rock School and RGT, which is a registry guitar tutors grades. So in grade 1, for example, on Rock School, they have a version of this, and what they have is they do your riff 10 times, and then there's a what's called a question and answer. That's like a question, and he's answering this riff with this 3, 0, 3, 2, and that leads into the bottom part. Now that second bit, it starts off the same. First 5 notes are the same, but he changes the ending. See the fingers? So second or third fret is always second finger. Right, And then we've got the other part, keeping this really, really simple because this is the first song. A 3 up here on string 6, 8 times, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and go up to fret 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're just going to make a 2 on string 5 and hit the 2 thickest. And that's really it. That's really all we're doing in this. The White Stripes, music doesn't have to be complicated. As soon as you start playing that for anybody, they're going to instantly know what that is. Okay, so I hope that's been straightforward enough. Any questions? As I say, I would really love to know your feedback on this video and this PDF, and it'd be great to have a chat. If you have downloaded it, you are working through it, and let me know what you think. Okay, and if you're in playing guitar, it'd be great if you let other people know as well that you've downloaded it and it's helping. That'd be really helpful for me. Okay, so that's the first song. So we're going to move on to the next song, which is going to be Ed Sheeran Perfect, and I'm going to show you an easier way to play it. So see you very soon, and we'll work on to that one. Hi everyone, so I really hope you've enjoyed working through the White Stripes, and you're ready to move on now to Ed Sheeran Perfect. If you have any questions at all, as I say, the links are in the document there. Just send me a message and I'll give you a hand with the first song, and we're going to get on to Ed Sheeran now. So I'm just going to share the screen and show you. We're going to move on to the next part. Right. So as I mentioned earlier, I have a free Get Playing Guitar group on Facebook, which is free lessons and trainings weekly, usually if not every couple of weeks, to help you play your favorite music quickly. We cover these kind of things that we're doing now, and I'll have more tips on how to play this song and loads more songs on the site. So if you're already in the group and you've got this, I hope you're enjoying it. If you're not in the group, I'd really appreciate it. You could join, and it would really help build the group, build the community, and help you with your playing, and also help loads of other people with their playing. So now we're going to start Ed Sheeran Perfect. You can also watch me doing teaching this one on YouTube as well, but I'm going to run you through it quickly here. 4 chords in this, basically, keep it straightforward. One thing about this one is it's 12/8 timing, but we're going to treat it in 6s. I think makes it kind of easier for everybody. Normally 12/8 is treated in sets of 3, but we're going to do it in sets of 6. So basically we're going to think of it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now some people will play it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But because we're going to go slightly heavier on the strum, I think it's easier to just keep it at 6s. You can do it in 3s if you want. The length of times you stay on the chords doesn't change anyway, but I don't want anybody to split hairs between 12/8 and 6/8. They aren't the same thing, but we're going to try and keep this easy. Okay, so G chord, E minor, as I mentioned earlier, C and D. Right, G chord was strum 6, E minor strum 6, C chord only strum 5. That's your root note there, and then we've got the D. Right. Now we can strip these back to easier chords if you haven't covered full chords yet, and I'm going to explain that right now. As we talked about earlier, this is where we're talking about get playing music, where you're starting music. You don't need to wait till you got those top 4 to play this. Okay, so we've got easy G. We're going to take the full G. So you've got 2 options here. You can either play the 4 strings at the bottom, or you can play a G6 up here. Now I'd advise you to work on your stretching. If you're doing G6, your arm would be out. If you're doing easy G, would come in a bit, and then try joining them both together. So G6, easy G, G. E minor, we'll keep the E minor the same. I want to keep it really easy. Note here that the G6 and the E minor have a pivot finger. Alright, so we're moving between these 2 fingers. So try and not lift. If you're moving to the next chord and it doesn't have, or it does have, sorry, if it does have the a common note, keep that note in there. Try and keep your finger on the fretboard. There's no need to go lift it off. Now CD, we could use 2 kinds of C in this. There's one that's not on there. I'll show you what I mean. Right, inside this C chord, these 3 strings are C, G, C, and E note. That's all you need for a C chord. We can strum here and use this as a mini C, or you can have the E note here as well and that one and strum this half. Don't wait until you've got all that. Just start with this. If you can get these 2 strings here to ring and no buzzing, or so I'm holding string 2 fret 1, string 4 fret 2, strumming the 4th Isnt. Stay away from these two. If you can get that finger on, great. Now when you're playing a C chord, it's very common this finger's over tight to the fret wire, this one's over tight to the fret wire, and this one's in the center of fret 3. Right. But if you can't get that, don't worry. Try that one. The less fingers you have on, the less strings you can hit. So that one there, as I have it down underneath, is CD. Just hit 3 strings. Right, now, D chord. What happens here? Right, 4-string chord. We don't hit this one and this one. We first finger here, second finger here, third finger here. So first, second, third. What's common is this second finger can get blocked by the third finger bending over. If it does, we can use what's called a D sus2. I'll not get into the theory of it, but basically it's a D chord without the second finger. So the first finger's here, third finger's here. We don't hit the 2 thickest, we just strum 4. So you've got, now, really nice chord anyway, and used very often. You'll probably have heard this, I'm sure. John Lennon do They Know It's Christmas, right? So that's in there, and that's really common chord in its own right. So you can use that for this. Still sounds nice while you can play away while you're working on your chords. As we go through the song, I'll give you some tips about working your way towards full chords when you're in the middle of playing the music you're playing. Okay, so hope you're okay with that so far. Just keep an eye on the axis below on what you can and can't hit. Easy G, hit 4. G6, hit 6. E minor, hit 6. CD, 3. Don't hit the 3 thicker ones. And the D sus2, hit 4. Any D chord, it's usually 4. Okay, so we're going to look at the song. So the song layout, right, intro, play rhythm and set to 6. So what we're doing here is the ×2 means we're playing the G chord 2 times. So when he sings I found a love, 2 sets of 6. So there's your C. Right, so you can get the gist of it. So it's 2 sets of 6, all down strums, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you get good at this, you can do a slightly heavier down here, but we're not worrying about that at the minute. Just keep the counting going and try and keep the momentum moving. So you can't do a G, as we said. We'll strip it back. Let me just make this a bit bigger so you can see me a bit better. So we'll just strip it back to a G6 or an easy G. If you're doing G6 version, 1, 2, 3. Keep your first finger on as you move to E minor. Try and keep strumming. If that's too fast, slow it right down. Good idea is to get a metronome, set it at a slow pace, and work to that. So we've got now, big jump, E minor to C is not easy. I would advise you, if you've only started, use the mini C. Keep this finger on and move that one over. If you use mini C, then we don't hit 6 and 5, just 4. And then the C to the D can be an awkward change, and we're going to go first finger, string 3, fret 2. Third finger, string 2, fret 3, and strum 4. So you have G for 2, E minor for 2, C for 2, D for 2. That's 1 set. Another set of chords, same again. When you get to this D by 1, we're going to have a pause here. So that's going to be, right? And then he goes into the pre-chorus. Pre-chorus now in a song is the bit that leads you into the chorus. Some pre-choruses are the same as the verse, but the singing changes. In this, it is the same chords, but he's made one different change here, the G to the 1. He spread the word time across. Time. So he's going, just kids when we fall. G. Minor. C, we're going to use the mini C. We're going to use the G6 for G if you can't get a G. 3, 4, 5, 6, the easier D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then Don just kiss me slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor. Try and keep that strumming hand going as you're going through it. Try and keep your second finger on. We're going to drop that one down. It's quite awkward. Takes a wee bit of practice. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to go to the D. We're going to keep the easy D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. And then you'll notice that and in your eyes, hold in mind after 6 drums, pause. Now this is just really fine tuning, putting the song together, but this is to give you the gist of it so you can get strumming something that sounds like it. Now here, what happens is the chorus, E minor, C, G, D. Now we've got links in here. I'm going to briefly go over these links, but basically the links are in here to tie it all together. Now I might be talking about these. If the links come up in the songs after this one, we'll talk more detail about them, but I do want you to get moving with this and just experiment and try it out. Okay, E minor. So the CD itself is a link, but it's also a mini C chord. So on E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the E off is string 4, 3, and 2. I would use those, and even playing that is actually a mini E minor in its own right. If you play 3, 2, 1. Now you don't have to do this. I'll play it without the links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Easy G6, easy D. Now what happens naturally after a while is when you're playing, the chords start to come together naturally. Now I'm just thinking there about the right, so there's an E minor missing. Apologies for that. I'll have this fixed up. This, the E minor here, there's an E minor, and then I'm dancing in the dark is a C. Then G. Then D. If you can't do that one, do that one. Can't do G6, do easy G. But we do need to try and get that D going. So you're still playing music, you're just playing it on a different, in a different way, but it's still the song. Now, that's the gist of it. So I'll not go through the whole entire song. Now, there's picking in here probably that you would pick. Now, that's why that's on here. You don't have to do that. So when it comes to that point, I mentioned here about the picking. There's picking part here, but you can play a G here while this plays, as it's quite difficult to get started adding that to the song. So I would suggest to get the rhythm part down first. Forget about the picking. This is what we're talking about, practicing in a structured way. Don't jump in and go, oh my God, I really want to and do this. Forget that for the minute. If you're not at that stage, just strum. For the meantime, just keep strumming. Okay, so the rest of the song goes in the same order. I just hope that's give you the gist of it. It's mostly 2 times on each chord. When time comes up again, it's 1 time and 1 time. And then the chorus, which is the E minor, C, G, D. That E minor should have been on there above, but that's the actual layout there. I'm dancing in the dark between my arms, and then down here, and then there's a guitar solo, which is over the verse, and then you got the chorus again, and it goes on through as we were doing. Don't worry about D add 4. D add 4 is a fancy name for a C chord. Brought up. This is what happens. You can see that on a perfect example. You're looking on the internet, you find this song, go, what the hell is a C add 9 and D add 4? Forget about the hard ones. Use the ones I have taught you here so far. Still sounds good. You can get into that stuff and go back on it and revisit the song later. We're talking about you getting started now. I'm not saying to leave these out at all, because that could be what he's playing. I think it actually is. But we're not going to get into that now. I want to keep this really easy, straightforward. The outro, there's a picking part, and again, you can play a G on that. It's quite difficult adding that into the song. As I said, just strum for the minute. If you're at a beginner stage, just strum. If you're further on, you could possibly look up the picking, but it is a wee bit hard. I hope you've enjoyed working on Perfect and give you the basic gist of how it all goes. Remember, if you're having difficulties with the chords, strip them back. Keep saying this, strip them back to more easier shapes, then build up your skills on the full chords again. Same idea. This is why I picked Stand By Me. We're going to do that next. And the reason I've picked that is it has the same chords in it. You can equally play it with mini chords or full chords, and it's more straightforward than Perfect because it's just the same thing right the way through. So I've enjoyed that, and I hope you have, and you found that useful. And if you've got the hang of that, we're going to move on to Stand By Me now. So see you in a minute. We're going to start working on it. Everyone, so welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed the White Stripes and Perfect so far. So I chose Benny King Stand By Me simply because it's such a classic song, and it is a great one, and everybody knows it, and it's a great song. It's just a classic song, so straightforward and great to sing along to. Has a great rhythm in it as well. Down, 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 up, which is such a crucial rhythm for everybody to learn. So important. It's one of the essential rhythms on my Get Playing Accelerator guitar program that I have as well. More about that maybe at the end with coaching. So John Lennon made this song, of course, famous as well. He did a famous cover of it. So his version is capoed in fret 2, and what I would suggest is maybe just to make things a bit easier, if you haven't got a capo and you don't know what it is, a capo is just basically a clamp that goes on the guitar and cuts off the bottom end of the fretboard and changes the pitch of where you're playing. So you put the capo on fret 2. We still play the same chords, but we're further up the fretboard by 2 frets for each chord. That's basically it. Your G6 and your easy G and all that stuff. So if you're still unsure about those, don't forget, my advice would be print off this PDF, have it sitting when you're working through the video, and go back over it and be able to look back. I'm going to walk you through those easier chords quickly before we get on to the tune. So 3 chords, or sorry, 3 fingers on the G. There's also a 4-finger G, but I have 3 finger on here because we're just helping you out getting your chords sorted out. Can't do that one, can't stretch across. G6 is nice, or easy G. So quick run through the rhythm. I'll play it first. See if E minor, C, and D, and G. Right, now, so what's happening there? Right, we've got a rhythm that causes some confusion sometimes. This down, down, up, down, up. Now, this is an important rhythm. It just, if you don't even know the rhythm to a song, you can use this one as a sort of an experimental rhythm. That'll really help. So what we're doing here is, now, just be careful. If you're using easy G, as I say, you wouldn't hit those 2 strings. We'd only come up. An E minor. Now, you see me playing that E minor. This is another way of doing it. Up here, you can use your 2nd finger and 3rd finger instead of your 1st and 2nd, if you want, but it's far harder, maybe you get the hang of, so we would keep it like that. Now this rhythm, down, down, up, down, up. Now what causes confusion with this rhythm is that people tend to rush the ups. Alright, so you've got down, down, up. The way I explain it when I'm teaching my students is, your arm has to swing down to come up again. But that's the beat that we're missing. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and miss, and 4, and 1, 2, and miss, and 4, and. So don't overthink it. Just let your arm swing down, but just try and miss the strings. If you were counting this out completely, there would be a down in the middle here of these ups, but we are missing that one out. Down, down, up, miss, up, down, up. Double ups make up the harder rhythms down the line. If you were working with me personally on a one-to-one basis, you would see that we would be progressively working through songs and I'd be teaching you how to do these kind of things. And if you get into something like Oasis Wonderwall or something that had really crazy rhythm, there's going to be stacks of ups in it. They are the things that cause the problems. Yeah, so as I mentioned here, the thing about this rhythm is keeping the arm swinging naturally on the double ups. It always causes some problems because double up strums can feel a bit strange because you're so used to going down. If you're working through this free PDF, then what's happening is so far we've done down strums. We haven't done any ups. We're bringing ups into it now. I don't like jumping onto this rhythm too soon, but at the same time, I thought, well, it's really important. If you get the hang of this, it'll really help your playing and loosen it up a bit. So what I would say is to take this rhythm slowly, and as mentioned earlier, try these rhythms in any others that I've listed. Sort of in the order. That's a wee typo there. It should be in the order I've listed in each song. So what we've got then, same thing the whole way through. The whole song's exactly the same. 2 times each chord, and 1 time in the chords is a bar. 4 beats, down, down, up, down, up. So I'm going to run through. I'm not going to go through the whole song because it's pretty straightforward. It's just to give you an idea. So when the night start into another verse. Won't be afraid. And the important thing is to keep the whole thing moving. We're just trying to keep it all swinging evenly. Now, I talk here a bit about this rhythm tip to take the rhythm and divide it up in two parts. This is where we're talking about how you practice. Really important. You don't practice by struggling through it constantly, doing the same thing over and over and over. What we do is we break things up. If you can't get this going, divide it in half. And then, right, down, down, up, down, up. And then pull it together. Closer comes together, the more it comes in time. Get used to the down, down, up, down, up separate, and then we bring it together. I hope that makes sense. Again, if you need to check this, you're having problems, the whole point of me putting the link in the document later on is that you can get in touch on my Facebook Messenger. Have a chat, and I'll try and help you out as much as I can. Okay. So I'm not going to go deep into this song because the whole thing just repeats. If you are looking up the internet and you're getting the song, make sure that it is capo 2 and it does have G, E minor, C, D the whole way through it. You can always download, there's loads of sites where you can get the lyrics and download the full song there. Okay, so far we've covered, we haven't covered the Beatles because I changed this around. The Beatles is coming up at the end and there's a reason for that. But we've done the White Stripes, we've done Ed Sheeran, we've just done B&E King. We're now going to look at U2 With or Without You. Now, this would be a harder song if we were doing it with the way it actually is, but I'm going to show you in a second, because we're using a capo, it's similar chords to what we've already been using, with maybe 2 new ones added in. So I hope you've enjoyed Stand By Me, and I'm going to run you through With or Without You. It's a fairly straightforward song, so see you very soon. Okay, right, we're going to run through With or Without You. Let me just explain something that's going on here. So this song actually uses a D, an A B minor, and a G. But this guide is intended to not have you struggling. I want you to get playing, hence the name. So I've changed it to C, G, A minor, and F major 7. In other words, an easy F that a lot of people are very surprised that they can actually use in songs, and it works well in this. We're going to use a capo in fret 2. We're going to change the D, A, B minor, G to a C. So I'll play it for you to see. So when we change it up, we're going to play C, G, A minor, and F. So it's going to be alright. Now take the capo off and play it in the original chords. D, A, B minor, G. Right, so it's no different. It's just easier to do. And if you're only in the early stages of learning and you're working on your open chords, this is a great song. Lots going on with the palm muting, which it's quite an advanced technique, but I'll briefly run over it to give you an idea and you can experiment with it. Okay, as we talked about earlier, we can strip these back to easier shapes. If C is too difficult, mini C, easy G. Now let me introduce A minor. So A minor is string 2 fret 1, string 4 fret 2, string 3 fret 2. Alright. Now you can do a mini A minor as well. But the problem with this is we do need this for F. So if C's too hard, you keep your fingers really curled. The F chord is actually a good stepping stone to get you onto C. Alright. So if we have it like that. So we've got C. Oh, well, yes, the rhythm, sorry. The rhythm in this is all down. So let's look at the song. Now, it's the key of D, but we'll keep it simple. Capo 4th fret. Sorry, not 4th fret. That's 2nd fret. I will change that. 2nd fret for this. If we capo the 4th fret, we're playing it in E, which is the wrong key. That's my fault. That's me typo. It's fret 2. Right, so we're going to go, apologies for that, it's fret, it's definitely capo fret 2. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What we're doing here is taking the beat 1, 2, 3, 4, dividing it in half, which means your strums are shorter and closer together. So we tap a beat going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. Now that distance, that time when you're coming up, that can be filled in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's what we're doing. 8 downs, change, 8 down, change, 8 downs, change. Whole song, same the whole way through, uncomplicated. But the chord changes aren't easy. Getting in and out of these chords can be quite tricky. Okay, so we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G. Can't do a G, do a G6. Can't do a full A minor, do a mini A minor. String 2 fret 1, string 3 fret 2. And then we've got an F. I'm going to put that third finger down. Now, there's also a way of treating the chords called palm muting, where what we're doing is just lightly leaning on the strings, taking the pick about a pick's length back from your sound hole. If you're doing this on electric, if it's a Stratocaster, just around the area of the middle pickup. If it's on a Telecaster, or anything with humbucker pickups, if you know what I mean, with basically your pickups are here and here, you're generally in the middle, but we're thinking of acoustic at the minute, and the sound hole is a good guide. So we've got bottom 2 notes of every chord gives you a nice sound. A minor, and F. Okay, so that's basically it. If you don't want to do that and you just want to keep it easy, light strums. Mini C, G6, half a G, or if you want easy, I'll do the mini version again. Mini C, G6, mini A minor, string 2, fret 1, string 3, fret 2, and then the F. Okay, and that's it. The whole song's the same. Capo fret 2, as I say, that's a typo, it's fret 2. And then C, G, A minor, F. Stacks of songs you can play with those chords. Talked about earlier about you play thousands of songs with chords of 3 keys. F, you can play C, G, A minor, and F. You can play Taylor Swift and Shawn Mendes and Ed Sheeran and George Ezra and Bob Marley, the Beatles, anything practically. Creedence Clearwater Revival, the Rolling Stones, just all these things you can do. Really, really good. So the idea of these songs is to really get you playing music and get you started. And it just continues the same way, the whole song, entire song. As Stand By Me, as the same Stand By Me plays the same chords throughout. It's a case of keeping that rhythm steady as you go through the song. You can check out a video of me playing this here on YouTube as well. If you want to check out that link there, will take you to the video on YouTube. Okay, so hope you've enjoyed that. And that's going to take us on to our 5th and final song, which is going to be the Beatles, Hey Jude. Great tune, great classic song, and I'm looking forward to teaching you that. We have a D, an A major, a G, an A7, a D7, and a C chord. I'll show you how you can strip these back if you're finding it difficult. And this is sort of a progressive way of doing it. The reason Hey Jude is at the end is because I wanted to walk you through these songs in a more straightforward way. So I'm looking forward to that, and great tune, and I'll see you in the Beatles lesson coming up. Everyone, so yep, we're on the final song already. It's time's flowing, that's what happens. Time flies when you're having fun. So we're doing Hey Jude, the Beatles. The reason I chose this was because despite it being in the key of F, we can capo on the 3rd fret and play easier chords and get you moving on it and get you playing a classic song with easier chords. We're going to run over the chords first. I'll share the screen and then we'll look at the document and I'll walk you through the different parts. So we need a D chord. We talked earlier about D. We've got D. Can't play, we can play a D sus2, but at this stage try and get that 2nd finger down to play a D. We need an A chord. Not keen on playing that way myself. If you can play it 2nd, 3rd and 4th finger, really good. Then that means then that it's probably easier if you've got fat fingers, or if you feel your fingers are quite big, then you can squeeze your fingers in here. If you consider yourself, sorry, to have fat fingers, some people tell me that makes guitar playing a bit easier, and it can sometimes. G chord again we've been using all along. Can't use that. You can use, if you can't play that G, you can use G6 or the easy G. What else is in it? We also need an A7. If you haven't come across this, this is A major with the third string opened up. Now there's one chord on this as well that we might put in, a G F sharp. This is optional, all right? Up here, G. What this means is when you see a G slash F sharp, anything on the right hand side of the slash is an altered bass note. So you can play a G and then put that up here, but you don't have to use this one. You could ignore it. It's only to kind of add in. It's just that the piano does a step down by one note. I think E minor's in there as well. And we also need D7. I haven't come across D7 yet. I used to think when I was learning this is D reversed. So this is D flipped. In other words, what I mean is these two notes, A and F sharp, are still in the chord, but you have to change fingers in order to play it. Alright. So we have D, A, G, E minor, A7, D7, and there's a C in it for the na-na-nas at the end. So, right, without any further ado, we'll get straight in. I'll share the screen, I'll share the document, we'll take a look at it. I'll make myself a bit bigger. So all your chords are on there. Again, we can use mini C, you can use the easy G, the G6, and there's the D7. Now, for some reason, I find a lot of people actually can play a D7. It's an important one of your set of majors, minors, and seventh chords. So cap at third fret puts you in the key of F, which means you're in the key of the song. While the D sounds quite high, the song is in F. And we're just substituting those with capo here, D, because the C note, or the F note, sorry, is here. So that when you take a D and slide it up the fretboard, D, D sharp, D, F. So when it kicks in, it's all downs. We're counting it out 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And as I said earlier, 4 beats divided into half beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And, right. So we've got hey, then the A7. Remove your third. Like open your string again, your third string open, right? Now, again, don't wait. This is a good song, a good example of rhythm hand must keep steady with the chord hand. So, what you can do at the very last strum is do an off really lightly as you move to the next chord to help with the coordination. The reason I've put this one on is because of the way Paul McCartney's playing the piano, the rhythm is steady on the piano, so he's down and down. He's basically doing eighth notes pretty much. So we're doing eighth notes on the guitar, and it means you don't have to worry about complicated ups. Everything's on the down strum. There's the A7. We're going back to D. Let me just bring that up a bit so you can see. So this brings us sort of full circle. The whole thing starts at D and goes round. After this, make it better, we go to G. D, then A7. Now the whole song's based on that, pretty much. Nice steady strum, 8 half beats, move on to the next chord, move on. A chord, if you're doing it that way, try and bring your second finger up on a string 4, strum 5. G chord, if you can't get from the A7 to the G, work on A7 to G6 or A7. Sorry, it goes A7 to D. Work on the G. D. Then you can A7. Now you notice my strums aren't even in terms of pressure and force, if we call it that. And music's called dynamic. So 1 and 2 and 3, and you can go heavy on the 1 and go heavy on the 5 strum. 1 and 2 and so 1 and 2 and which works out to be the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. In other words, you could go heavy here and 2, and go heavy here if you want. It's optional. You don't have to, but as long as you're keeping the rhythm steady and you're getting your chord changes are happening. The chord transitions are the problem. If this one causes you a problem, as I say, the reason for the link to me on Messenger in the PDF is just so we can have a chat and I can help you with your playing. And I would really love to get your feedback on this and to see how you find working through it all. I know the video is quite long, but 5 songs takes quite a long time to work through, but I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Anyway, then we get into verse 2. On verse 2, then we've got don't be afraid. Verse 2 again. Now the change. Now the G F sharp. What's happening here? This is called a split bar. You've still got 4 beats divided into half beats. 4 half beats and 4 half beats here. Right. So in other words, 1 and 2 and 3 are. So you're going. So anytime you feel, I'll show you the line before, forgot about that, right? So we had to go out and get it. The minute you let it under your skin, B, A7, now D, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and see how the D7 has a passing tone effect. It sounds unfinished, it's going somewhere. Where it's going to is the G. And anytime you feel the... So what am I doing here? Right, this is G or G6. I'm hitting, this is F sharp, fret 2 string 6. What you can do is 1 finger, lean on 5, don't worry about the other ones, you can strum 5. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and world, D, 2, 3, D7, and it goes into the for don't you know that it's a full. Right, we're on the D, right down here. Now be very careful here. These na-na-nas are quite tricky. When I was working this out, I had to listen and listen and listen to it to make sure these were right. So it's kind of going na-na. Right, so the D7 is only 4 strums, and then you've got 2 sets of 8 on the A7. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 4, right? And then we're into verse 3, which is the same as the previous verses. And then we've got that again, the na-na-nas, and then verse 4, and then I'm going to show you the ending, which is the bit everybody always remembers. You can start to make it better. So on the build-up, you can start to make it better. So it's and D7, and then the outro. D, C, G, D. And it just continues on. Continues on endlessly, infinity. So you've got that C and G. Again, if you can't do C, you can still do your mini C all the way through all these. Then your G, G6 if you want. I'll run through again with an easy G, easy D, mini C, easy G, 1 finger. Continues on and on and on. Okay, so I really hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed teaching you how to play these songs. I hope you've enjoyed it and it hasn't been too confusing and too overwhelming. Do rewatch and rewatch them again and get them down. Do ask me any questions at all on any of the songs. Those typos I will get in and fix those up before you get a copy of this. One thing I would say is as I say, my whole mission is to expand and start teaching everybody all around the world. I do have a program, an online program called Get Playing Guitar Accelerator, where it's unique. It's not like any other course out there because you get one-to-one coaching in this program, which you don't get on the ones that are available that I know of online at the minute. And the reason for that is one-to-one coaching is the only thing that actually really helps you progress with your playing. If you don't get one-to-one coaching, you sit struggling, hunting on YouTube, hunting for results, hunting for books, using just jumping from one thing to the other. My students that have signed up recently in the past couple of weeks at the date of recording and in the past 2 years, it's running now over 2 years, have told me that struggling on their own came to the point where they've just had enough and they want to get professional help and get hands-on help. So what happens is they then send me through videos every week. We have coaching calls, we have one-to-one calls that are lessons, really flexible. You can work on this at your own time, your own pace, anywhere, tablet, PC, phone, desktop, laptop, whatever it is, you can work on it at your own time. It's all self-paced, just the way we went through these lessons. I hope this has shown you so far the whole point of learning things in a progressive way. Hopefully these songs have given you a knock-on effect and help with the next tune that you've been working on. And that's the way we treat everything on guitar. It's exactly the same. You start at the start, you work through everything in a step-by-step way, and then you just build up your skills until you can play all the music you want to play. And there's also a soloing element as well as modulate in it. So if you're interested in hearing more about that and you've watched the video, comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment below. Just comment below guitar. I'll know what you mean. If you're watching it on Instagram or TikTok, comment guitar below. If you've downloaded the resource and you're having any problems, get in touch. Click the link in the PDF at the end. Send me a message and then we'll have a chat and I can give you some tips on where your playing's at the minute. It's a free 15-minute call, no obligation. You're not wasting my time. It's great for me to get some research as well and just find out really what people are struggling with. Because for some people, it's not always the same thing. And guitar is a unique and individual journey. This is why I have one-to-one coaching, because you can't just hand out one thing and everybody just works on it. You can have fundamentals there, but you need to be able to give hands-on help to really make a difference. So do get in touch if you're wanting to bring your guitar playing forward. Really appreciate that. And if you are checking out the YouTube things, I'd really appreciate if you'd subscribe to it. That really helps the channel and brings things forward. And hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon. Might see you in the Get Playing Guitar group or somewhere down the line on Instagram or TikTok. But thanks very much for taking the time to go through all these songs and download the resource. I really, really appreciate it. And I really would like to help you with your playing, and I hope it does. Okay. Bye for now.